Today's Spinal team empowers the emergency department to early rule out acute coronary syndrome among patients presenting with chest pain. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Steve Parker from Creavo Medical Technologies.
Thank you. I'd like to share with you Brian's story. Brian is in his late 50s, semi-retired, he's done well for himself, and he has one passion in life. It's his garden. So over the Easter weekend, he's out tending his garden, and he starts to get chest pain. Now, Brian's a guy, he knows he's strained a muscle, but his wife is less sure, so she insists he goes to the emergency department to get checked out. So Brian becomes one of the 8 million people every year that present to the emergency department with chest pain. Quite rightly, because chest pain could be the precursor to a heart attack. It's the right thing to do. But that 8 million people cost the US healthcare system $9 billion every year to triage. Now, 70% of those patients, just like Brian, don't have a serious heart problem. But because it might be a heart attack, every patient is triaged in exactly the same way. So today, the patients enter the emergency department, they get an ECG, they get blood draws, and the first results come together at around that 3 to 4 hour time. So the first third of patients can be discharged at around 4 hours. The rest of the patients then go into more complex or repeat testing, which actually has them seeing potential discharge around that 8 hour mark. Now, the average cost to triage a patient who hasn't got a serious heart problem is around $2,000. The problem is that there's no deployable rule-out technology available in the ED today to identify those patients at low risk. I'd like to introduce Creavo's CoreSense technology. We have the ability to measure the very, very small magnetic fields associated with hearts that are proven to be diagnostic to cardiac ischemia. We can do that in a 3 to 5 minute scan of the chest at the patient's bedside through clothing. So we make about 42 measurements in the background on all of that data, but for a physician at 2 o'clock in the morning, he wants a binary output. Should I send my patient home today, safely, right now, or does this patient need further testing? So we use AI and machine learning to give that binary output to a physician. It's information he needs to be able to triage that patient better. So Philips has ECG machines in the ED, resuscitation machines in the ED, and informatics, but no decision-making tool for these patients. So working together with the cardiology, the magnetometry that we can provide, and the informatics, we can now discharge those patients a lot sooner in that process. So instead of that first 4 hour mark, we can get a third of the patients out of the door at 1 hour. Instead of the 8 hours, we project we can get patients out of the door at 4 hours. So we're doubling the speed at which we're triaging those patients. But importantly, we're doing it for half the cost. So reducing costs, better utilization of resources, and nursing time. So as Creavo, we've done a number of studies, done 1,300 patients in ED, scanned by nurses, both in Europe and in the US. So we have the device ready, it's down the corridor, you can see it later, and we can actually signal process and acquire all that data. We need to do one more study of 12 months to actually develop the diagnostic algorithm, which will then go into the device. And I'm absolutely delighted to be able to confirm that we've agreed a collaboration now with Philips. We will be working together to get this technology to your and our patients. So Philips are supporting us with the initial protocol for that study and some of the site selection of that study. So we'll be in a position at the end of it, via HealthWorks, who brought all this thing together for us, we'll be at the position at the end of it to be able to make a value decision about the commercial relationship to get this product into the marketplace. So once we do that, in the ED, we have a binary output, yes or no. That is a $5 billion market opportunity that we can work on together across the world. But working further with Philips, we can then start to work out how much ischemia can we see. That takes us into other areas, both inside and outside of the hospital, which we believe is worth around $18 billion. Now, wouldn't it be nice? There are drugs and therapies out there today, cardiotoxicity, that damage your heart. So they push patients into heart failure. Wouldn't it be nice to work as a companion diagnostic to help those patients and monitor that cardiotoxicity over time? All told, in ischemia alone, working together, we think there's a $23 billion market opportunity. So today, with the ED processes that are in place, Brian is sitting, getting ready for a 4 to 8 hour wait in the emergency department overnight. Working together to bring this new technology, Brian would have had a 5-minute scan. He'd now be talking to his physician with the results, understanding how quickly he can get back to his garden and get on with the day job. Thank you.